It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, June the 29th. Good morning. It's going to be a perfect day.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But, well, actually, probably not, because last night there was a perfect night. We don't normally start this show talking baseball, and we sure as hell don't normally start this show talking New York Yankees baseball. But, you know, come on. We're all historians. We're all fans of the great American pastime. And last night, history was made as Domingo Germán. Come on, let's be honest. None of us have ever heard of this guy before. A pitcher for the New York Yankees in Oakland for only the 24th time in the history of the major leagues, which dates back to the year 1218. No, I'm sorry, 18 something or other. For only the 24th time in baseball history, and for the fourth time in baseball history, a member of the New York Yankees threw a perfect game. 27 batters up, 27 batters down. It sounded like this at the end.
Grounded to third. Donaldson has it. There it is. Perfection for Domingo Germán. Domingo Germán has thrown the 24th perfect game in baseball history.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Don Larson, David Wells, David Cohn, and Domingo Germán. Not the greatest Yankee pitchers of all time, but the four who've done this.
Yeah.
I promise you, David Wells was drunker than the other three were at the time of the perfect game.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, the Boomer did not back away from the bar. But this is a huge thing. I mean, the Yankees are struggling through a Midland season. Their fans are freaking out. And Yankee baseball, growing up as I did in Maryland, I despise the Yankees, but I certainly understand the significance of the franchise. I don't ever dispute the history or that significance. So this is a big night for baseball. Again, only 24 times has this happened. How many times have we seen a guy lose a no-no or a perfect game in the ninth inning? There's nothing more devastating. I can only imagine standing on the mound with 2 outs in the ninth and thinking, come on, just one more. And, of course, a perfect game has as much to do with luck as anything. Every fielder has to make the right catch, the right throw. You just can't have an error. You can't have any miscues. It's a big night for baseball and obviously a huge night for this kid from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah. I remember years ago on ESPN, they were asking some of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball, and maybe some of the guys were retired as well. Would you rather pitch the perfect game or win a World Series game? Be on the mound to win a World Series game. Like a lot of guys said, well, it's a team sport. I want to win the World Series game. But honestly, I mean, individually, that's the apex of a Major League Baseball pitching career. If you could, I mean, that's what you dream about if you can make that happen. And so many things can go wrong over 9 innings of baseball. To get a perfect game, it's pretty. Just that's it. 24 perfect games, and like you said, almost 900 years of baseball.
It goes back. It goes back quite a ways. The NHL draft was held last night down in Nashville, Tennessee. The Minnesota Wild, with the 21st pick overall, selected a local boy. Isn't that nice?
Nice.
Keeping it in the backyard, Charlie Stramel. Or is it Stramel? Honestly, I'm terrible with these pronunciations.
I don't know. I don't think he was expected. I was peeking. And listen, when it comes to the NHL draft, I love the Wild. I follow the season. I like the rivalries with the Avalanche and those goons, the Jets, and even the Blackhawks. But when it comes to the draft, I don't dig in that deep. But I was looking around, and he wasn't expected to be a first rounder, but he's really, I guess, upped his game since going from the Badgers to the USHL. And the Wild really liked what they saw, I guess, and decided to pick him up. And I think center, he's probably maybe going to be positioned as a forward, maybe a power forward. But, he's a big guy. And the Wild like to be a big team, and I think that's how they have to compete in that division and in their conference, rather. And, so...
I don't know if anybody else calls this kid the pride of Rosemount, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, he's got to be the pride of Rosemount. How about that? A Rosemount kid going first round for the Wild. We love it. We love having the Minnesota kids on the team, of course. So,
however, the best part of the draft was out on the street in Nashville, outside on Broadway, Lower Broadway in Nashville. It's like Bourbon Street in New Orleans. It's just, except for it's honky tonks instead of jazz clubs. You guys have all been to Nashville. A lot of our listeners certainly have. It's honky tonk after honky tonk. The rivers run with vomit night after night. I should say the sidewalks. And so last night out on the street, a kid from Nashville named Alex Dougherty, who has a hockey podcast. And I know people roll their eyes when I say this, but Nashville's a good hockey community. The Predators built the thing up right from the ground up. Kids grow up playing hockey down there now. So for where it is and for how long the team's been there, they couldn't have done anything better. So it's not exactly a hockey dumb town, except for this one kid, Alex Dougherty, who hosts a podcast, who's a member of the Nashville sports media, and he's doing man-on-the-street interviews discussing with fans their thoughts on the draft. He gets a guy on the interview that, it's videoed, it's all right there. It's like, hey, what's your name? And the guy says, I'm Kyle from Chicago. And they proceed to talk about the Blackhawks because Kyle's from Chicago, must be a Blackhawks fan. Well, Kyle is Kyle Davidson, the general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yes.
And this kid has no idea that he's interviewing, again, the general manager for the Chicago Blackhawks. A little bit of it right here. It sounded like this.
What's your name and where are you from?
Kyle from Chicago.
From Chicago?
Yeah.
You ever been to Nashville before?
A couple times, yeah.
For a Blackhawks game?
Yeah.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you say you know about hockey?
Probably I didn't play professionally or anything, so probably a 4.
Oh, wow, okay.
Fan of the sport, I don't know. Some people say I don't know that much, so.
Okay. Most of the 2010 or 2013 Chicago Blackhawks, were you watching that team?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that the league rigged the draft in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks?
No.
Pretty confident.
I'm very confident.
Okay, all right.
It's a great little interview to find. We chopped it down there to about a half a minute, but it goes on for a few minutes, and he asked him to name some players.
He said, name as many NHL players as you can in 20 seconds. And he just rattles off 17 names, most of them Blackhawks. Yeah. And the kid is so, he's like, wow, you actually know a good bit about hockey. It's just great. And I can assure you, as anybody can imagine, everybody in the media in the Music City that knows this kid, Alex Dougherty, is never going to let him forget this.
Oh, no. And
the GM is very young sounding, too.
Oh,
he is. Yeah, he's very young looking. I mean, he's probably... Ooh, sorry, Candace, easy.
Yeah.
Let's get some Blackhawks tickets lined up for the Wild this coming season.
Yeah. I see you're Googling Kyle Davidson. You're going to think he is hot. To be fair now, I remember seeing Kyle Davidson a few times at press conferences. He's got a suit jacket on, or, he's a little dressed up as the GM, sitting behind a desk or a podium or something like that. And I don't know that I would have picked him out because he's wearing a gray sweatshirt and he's got a Blackhawks hat on backwards, so he looks like a young guy walking down the street. However, if I'm doing a hockey podcast, I probably should know. But hey, this podcaster gets right into it and owns it. And I love that as of this morning, his tweet had 2.5 million views, and his next biggest tweet had, I think, 1,100.
Yeah, biggest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, no doubt. Big time for
if
him.
you're, they say if you're going to slip on a banana peel, do it on camera.
He did.
I don't know if they say that. I'm going to start saying it. I'm going to put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, he did it big time. And then tip of the cap to Kyle Davidson for just sort of rolling with it, and being good-humored about it.
And with that, it's time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Steve. We start off, of course, with a little medical update. I really was not surprised that Pete Davidson had entered a rehab for his mental problems. This probably should have happened sooner. We wish him the best. He is doing well. Madonna still hospitalized for recovering from that bacteria infection. She's better, too, so two good news for the medical report today.
I hadn't heard about Madge being in the hospital.
She was Saturday found unresponsive and was rushed to a hospital.
Oh, Lord.
She had, this bacteria infection is what they're saying. She had to be intubated for 2 days.
Wow.
They just took the tube out, I think, yesterday morning they took the tube out.
I got to remove that Madonna block from my Google searches.
You probably should, yeah. Hey, some legal nuggets. So Kevin Spacey is in London court today. He faces 12 criminal counts. Now, 7 of those counts come from 2001 to 2005, way back. 3 for indecent assault, 3 for sexual assault, 1 for sexual activity without consent. The other 5 charges reportedly happened in January of this year. They include 4 for sexual assaults and 1 for penetration sexual activity without consent, all against men. Now,
Right.
I've shared this story before, but I got to share it one more time. I don't know that Kevin Spacey is gay. I flew from New York to L.A. first class a while back, sat next to Kevin Spacey the whole trip. He never hit on me, Steve. So, I mean, if he's gay, how could he not, how could he resist me? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, Mike. I get so lost in the sound of your voice. I didn't hear a word you said, really.
Okay. Show business. Taylor Swift's first 5 concerts in Los Angeles sold out so fast that Taylor has added a 6th show. It'll be held at the Sci-Fi Stadium like the rest of them. It holds 55,000 for concerts.
6 nights?
Or 330,000 total seats for the 6 shows.
Right on, Taylor.
The average ticket cost is $500, so that means Taylor Swift's concerts will make $165 million over the 6 days.
That's good work if you can get it, Mike Evans.
Man, oh man, wow, this is amazing. Publicists have named the sexiest 50-year-old woman in Hollywood, and she got it for the bikini. Why not for being sexy? Sofia Vergara. And a little sports note, tonight is the match, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce versus Steph Graf and Clay Thomas in a golf match. Those are always kind of fun to watch. No-hitter by New York Yankee last night. Perfect game.
Yeah, first time anyone's talked about the Yankees or the A's all year.
Yeah,
other than the grease fire in New York and the fact that the A's are going to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I mean, they've been a no-show all along, but last night, big news. And, I love sports, and Steve, I know you love sports, but I got to tell you, man, with the NBA, the NHL, over the college softball and baseball World Series decided, Major League Baseball halfway done, and the All-Star game, I'm kind of find it boring.
The Women's World Cup, Mike, right around the corner.
Coming. That's coming.
Come on.
But I'm jonesing for football, homie.
Oh, I'm with you. That's a permanent state.
So let me share. First NFL preseason game will match up Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. The game is on August 3rd. It's on ESPN. Only 35 days from today.
Wow. Yes, sir.
That's good. And the first college game will
Sorry,
be...
Mike, someone said to me the other day, hey, Birmingham, I said my wife was from Birmingham, and they said, don't they have the USFL championship there? Was that you that said that? And I was like,
said that.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could care about the USFL, but I just can't. I just got to wait around for the real thing.
I agree. I try to watch it. I try to watch Canadian football when I'm jonesing for football, but it's just not the same.
No, not at all.
Same. The first college football game will match up 2 teams that I bet on more than any of the other college teams. Notre Dame playing Navy in Ireland. That game is August 26th, so first college game, 58 days away.
I'm sorry, Mike. I got to cut you off again. The 2 teams you have bet on more than any other?
Yeah,
and you said
was in the
Navy?
for 27 years.
Oh, okay.
So we went to a lot of Navy games, and I've always kind of liked Notre Dame. I don't know.
We've all got crosses to bear, brother.
What's your favorite college team?
I shouldn't say. Well, I should. It's the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh, dude. And
how about that one, Twin Cities? Deal with it.
Homie. And I'm an Ohio State guy. I think we might have some wagers later in the year.
I'm sorry, Mike. I think we've lost you.
Hello. Heads up, 3 movie reviews tomorrow. Michigan State, University of Michigan. Mike Evans, see ya.
Later.
He's puzzled.
I'm from a Detroit family. It's a Michigan thing. I didn't have a choice. I had 5 older brothers. Every Saturday it was Ann Arbor, wherever we lived. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a beating over it, but we respect it because it's where you come from. It's your child.
Well,
nothing's genuine about, someone that slides into Minnesota, like myself. I've been here for 30 years. Most of my adult life, I've been in Minnesota, but I can't get on and say, I love the Gophers.
Sure.
SDSU Jackrabbits all the way. No, I don't know. Actually, I was born in Pennsylvania, so I still hang out there. I say Penn State now, and people are like, "Oh, you can't like Penn State," but yeah, we get it. We dig it. It's hometown passion, man.
Yeah, it's what it is. I mean, I always say for professional sports, cover your ears, Vikings fans. For pro sports, be a mercenary if you want.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and the players certainly are. When your team sucks, pick another one for a year. Enjoy life again. I don't mind. But with your college sports, you can't really jump. I don't know. There's something about it to me. It's like, I'm going to cheer for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers in basketball forever. And boy, I sure wish I didn't. It's just what it is. You know what I mean?
No, I found myself, the SDSU Jackrabbits were in the national championship last year. Their head coach, John Stiglmeyer, was my secondary coach when I played at Northern State in Aberdeen. So those are things that go back to our childhood. Yeah, those are deep rooted. Yeah, so you gotta pull for the hometown team from time.
No, as I say every Saturday in the fall, I'm cheering for the Wolverines and I'm cheering against Jim Harbaugh. I just can't stand the guy. He makes me. He's a good coach, but everything about he's just I watch him interviewed and I feel like I'm chewing on aluminum foil. He just rubs me the wrong way all day long.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, speaking of chewing on aluminum foil, if you're gonna go to the big fireworks show this July 3rd in Minneapolis over at the the Boom Island Park. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get so much fireworks. What you're going to get is a laser show.
Oh, come on, man.
Weird. Lasers.
They canceled the fireworks and whatever. That was lame. But, how do you make it lamer? How do you double down on a big, bad lame? You replace it with a laser light show. Laser light shows are for Acid and Pink Floyd tribute bands,
Thank you.
Or occasionally you'll fire them up at the show or whatever. But so you took away the fire. Now, listen, Tom Godfrey, I believe is his name. He's the events manager for the Minneapolis Park and Rec Board. I get it. They said, Tom, come up with something. He's putting lipstick on a pig, but this isn't going to sell. No.
I can't see it. I can't see it making sense. And for look, I'm a dog owner. Chauncey doesn't mind fireworks, but Zelda, God rest her soul, lost her mind over fireworks. Every year, they start going, and I'm like, oh, for the love of God, we still have to do this. But short of my dog not liking fireworks, it just, I'm always down for it. I mean, I don't need to see that many more fireworks in my life unless they come up with one that blows up and looks just like me. I'd take a look at that, I guess.
What if their aim is off and they get somebody in the eye or in the face?
Or they hit a plane up in the air, right?
That was my thought. Think what one laser pointer can do to a Delta jet, and now you got a laser show in the sky. I don't know, man.
Cats are just going to start jumping in the
air. No, cats are going to freak out.
Right.
Think about the cats for
somebody out there is like, no, this is the future, man. Get on board.
I'm sad I'm not going to be here. I would for sure check it out.
You gotta have your Gen
mind
Z.
open.
You're a millennial. You're always talking about the future. Everything's the future with you, Candace.
Yeah.
It might be cool.
It might be cool.
Yeah, and I'm a cynical Gen Xer going, I wasn't even going to the fireworks show. So what am I bitching about?
Yeah, right.
I used to love to go down there, but it's become a bit congested. And
I tell you what, I was thinking about doing.
Now.
I was thinking about taking my flying car over to the laser show because I live in the future. Or do I? You know what? I do want to talk about a future that's right around the corner because there are some things coming that are at the very least alarming. Make no mistake about it. So let's in a few minutes let's talk about the future, shall we? But before that, I think we need to talk about the past. How about a history lesson? It is June the 29th. On this day in 1905, a long time ago, a guy named Archibald Graham, a rookie outfielder playing with the New York Giants, got into a game against the Brooklyn Dodgers. In the top of the ninth inning, Graham is on deck. He has just entered the game. He is awaiting his first big league at bat, but his teammate hit a pop fly. The inning ended, and Archibald Graham was left in the batter's box. He never played in another professional game, later got a medical degree from the University of Maryland, and was a local doctor for 50 years. You may be thinking, why have I heard of Archibald Graham? His nickname was Moonlight. Archibald Moonlight Graham He was immortalized in the book Field of Dreams.
Oh.
What?
And also in the movie Field of Dreams. That movie, who doesn't remember the fact that at the end of the movie when Kevin Costner says, "Dad, would you like to have a catch?" And me and you and every other dude in the theater burst into tears.
Yeah, don't get me all, just goosebumps. I just got goosebumps now.
So the old doctor in that movie, Archibald Graham, remember? That's a real guy, and that was a real story. Wow. Nothing else about that movie made sense, but that part did. On this day in 1990, we mentioned earlier on the show, there was a perfect game last night thrown by a New York Yankee pitcher. Herman went through a perfect game in Oakland. On this day in 1990, two pitchers threw no-hitters. Dave Stewart of the Athletics and Fernando Valenzuela of the Dodgers both threw no-nos. That's never happened before. You could say 1990, that was just pre-steroid era. 9 no-hitters were thrown that season. It was tough to get a bat on a ball in the early 90s. Good thing everybody jacked themselves with steroids a few years after that.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Candace Wheeler, stop banging your head, baby. The Black Sabbath is done for now.
I will not.
Okay. Continue to bang your head then. I'm sorry I suggested how you should live your life.
Dare you?
It is Thursday, June the 29th. Good morning. The future is upon us, and I'm a little nauseous. Check this out. I am not making any of what I'm about to say up. A flying car, yes, a flying car, George Jetson, has been approved for testing by the FAA. This has never happened before. For the first time, the FAA has looked at a plan. They've taken a gander at some nut job's idea for a flying car and said, yeah, okay, we'll take a look at it. We'll put it through some tests.
What could possibly go wrong?
There's a company called Aleph, ALEF.
All right.
And the one thing they have that apparently other flying cars don't have is the ability to take off vertically.
Ooh.
For those of you who can't remember which is which, vertical is straight up and down. If you get stuck in traffic, you just shoot up and fly over it, is the thinking.
Like the Harriet.
Yeah, like a Hawker Harrier. Exactly.
Cool.
It's so, you don't need a long stretch of road. You don't need a runway, per se. You don't have to, have clearance to get up to speed. You just hit a button and up you go. Now,
What kind of a noise was that?
That's actually, that wasn't me. That's the company Aleph. They put that up online. That's the sound the car makes when it shoots up. I used to drive my kids to a little preschool, and every morning we would drive. And I sang a song. The school was on a road called Granny White Pike, and I would sing a song about when we turn on Granny White, and they would laugh, and I was charming little dad. But then I would constantly hit the buttons when we were in traffic. I would hit the hazard light, or I would hit any button on the dashboard and say, "Where are those doggone wings?" And I would act like the car is about to fly so we could get out of traffic. And they would laugh, and they'd go, "Dad, that's the windshield wipers." And I'd go, "Hang on. No, that's it." And they'd go, "That's the hazards." I never thought, literally within 20 years of that happening, that this would be a real conversation.
Yeah. That'll actually be a dad doing that, and the kids will go, "It's that button right there, Dad."
Yeah.
He turns on the windshield wipers every time we're supposed to, what is it? Go straight up in the air.
I've already forgotten.
Well, yeah,
I've already lost track of it.
Right.
How about this one?
I like that. That sounds like it crashed.
That's exactly probably what's going to happen, because if you're putting a world full of flying cars together, I mean, let's just think about it like this: how long have we been driving cars as a society? Over 100 years. Have we got that part figured out yet?
I'll tell you what.
Be honest. I don't think so.
I crisscrossed the metro yesterday at the last time of the day you ever wanted to. At 5 p.m., I decided to go from Minnetonka to South Minneapolis. And I don't trust one damn person out there, including myself, to fly. I like the idea of people flying around needing extensive training, right? And screening, and there's a lot of regulation to it. You can't just have our average hoople head. You can't give me the power to zip up and out of traffic. Of course, if we're all doing it, then, what do you want, 494 up in the air? That's just not going to fly. But these things are going to be so enormously expensive. Every time you see someone doing that, you thought the person in the, pick a luxury car was the douchebag. Now it'll be the douchebag going, that son of a bitch, and he's just going to go straight up in the air and peel on out of here because you and I aren't going to be able to probably afford these in our lifetime.
Well, now hold on, Zep. Now you can get in line. You can place a pre-order. You can just put yourself down on a list for $150. That's not that much.
No.
You can skip the line and join what they're calling their priority queue for $1,500.
Oops. Getting all
They're
steep.
expected to cost, when these things are, when this comes to fruition, the expected price tag is $300,000. So
there you go.
For only a little bit more than the cost of going to see the Titanic in a submersible, you can, rather than die at 2 miles below sea level, you can die by hitting an oak tree in your own flying car. This company has released like renderings of what they think it'll look like.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean the car, it doesn't look like any car you've ever seen. It looks like someone from the 60s had a futuristic car in mind. I mean, it literally looks like a bubble car from a much earlier times futuristic rendering. But then they have a photo of what they think a future commute would look like. So just imagine this. Picture a bridge. I think this looks like it's probably the Bay Bridge over the San Francisco Bay. And you see all the cars on the bridge, and then you see rows, car after car after car in the air above it. And every one of them is spaced accordingly, as if people will be able to fly a car and stay in a straight line.
Right.
As if we can't stay in a straight line on a road that has lanes provided for us. And this company thinks that anybody's going to be able to handle a flying car. And again, this has actually been approved for testing. Now, the FAA hasn't said when they're going to start the tests, but it's just kind of mind-blowing. We've, at some point in our life, had moments where you go, oh, I can't believe this is actually happening. This is here. It's upon us. But this is one of those for me. I'm just like, man, what on earth? How many traffic accidents do we need? How many bad driving incidents do we have to be a part of before we realize this is only going to go south in a hurry? Candace, I believe we have a caller on the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line.
Samantha from Cold Spring.
Samantha, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Well, so far so good. I'm a little concerned about this flying car nonsense. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. I worked for a non-named company that did airline simulations 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The FFA was talking about flying cars back then, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Were they freaking out about it, or were they like, hey, this is going to happen? This is a good idea.
It's my understanding, from what I understood, this has been in the works for some time.
So right about the time we sink about $500 trillion into infrastructure and get the roads finally fixed and squared away and all the bridges, we're not going to. It's going to be a waste of money. We're going to. You know what? Everybody get up there. I'm going to stay down here in the old diesel and just truck it around on wide open roads. They're going to have to be autonomous, though. We can't let people just get up there. Can you imagine if 35W was just a big, wide parking lot?
It's going to be a freeway. There's going to be zoned freeways, just like there are for when you land and take off at airports.
All right. But except instead of pilots and people in control towers that are highly trained, it's going to be me that's on there.
You know, not that I know you personally, but it is concerning.
Then you know me well enough.
Very, very, very eloquently stated, Samantha.
Well,
thank you for the call. Thanks for the call and for the nauseating insight.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, that is great insight. Thank you, Samantha, because this isn't something that just today popped up and somebody came up with a silly rendering. The FAA has just approved testing on this. It's been in the works for decades. I mean, it's coming. I'm on the KQ Facebook post this morning, and bravo, listeners. Things that we just didn't think would be real in our lifetime, the flying cars, they're happening. They're coming. How about this one? Legal marijuana. I mean, honestly, 20, 30, 40, 50, when we were growing up, did we ever think that marijuana would be legal, let alone a Stanley Cup in Las Vegas was another good one.
That's pretty good. I mean, going back, like I mentioned earlier, this looks like something from the 60s. Well, some of us here were alive in the 60s and certainly came of age in the 70s. When I used to look forward and imagine things in the future, I clearly, aimed for the ceiling as opposed to the sky. I mean, I remember, do you remember there was a movie called The Big Bus in the 70s? It was a comedy, and it was basically about a bus the size of, it was just like the biggest bus that ever, you could live on it for weeks at a time and months, and I don't even remember much about it other than thinking, oh yeah, that's probably what it'll be like, like there'll just be there'll be giant vehicles that you just hop on, and they just, I'm talking about a bus that's like 100 feet tall and it's like a mile long. And I was like, yeah, that's probably where we're headed. Like as a little kid.
Yeah, you can live on a cruise ship now.
Yeah, basically.
So
it was
like outrageous.
A cruise ship on wheels. That's as far as I went. It was Henry Ford, wasn't he the guy who said if I'd asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse before he unveiled the car. There's certain people who are looking around corners, and I'm just not one of them. I'm still freaking out about self-driving cars, much less flying cars.
And we haven't even got electric vehicles widely distributed, and already we're flying in these things. How about video phones? Cassandra said video phones. I remember my mom, laughing about the idea in the 80s. We thought, what if the phone answers and you're in your underwear? Those old goofy things. Could you imagine actually seeing someone on the other end of the phone? It's so taken for granted now, but video phones were something we thought just would never happen. Our imaginations, we've so outpunted our imaginations, like you said. You were just thinking about a big bus. Wouldn't that be nuts?
My dad used to fantasize about having the ability to watch movies at home. Like a movie theater in your own house.
Yes. It'll never happen.
Crazy.
Yeah, never happen.
He was fantasizing about that, and of course, people in L.A. were like, "Oh, silly man from the Twin Cities. I'm living your future dream right now." Yeah. I used to think that there would be a lot more underground living. That's probably because I also used to think that there was going to be, there was imminent nuclear disasters waiting to happen. So I figured we'd all be like mole men at this point, too. There was a time when I thought clearly, we're not going to go settle on the moon or Mars, but we're going to tunnel in and we'll have underground cities, which, as far as I know, maybe, who knows? Maybe there are some underground cities and I just haven't heard about them yet.
Yeah, we just haven't been there yet. The mole people exist. Planet of the Apes. It's going to happen. Well, the AI stuff with the robots. I mean, that's happening. There is, in Japan right now, they have working human-looking robots. Now they're working on human skin to put them on. And that's supposed to put us at ease. They thought, well, if these robots that are artificially intelligent and are going to be our butlers before we're their slaves, perhaps if they had human-like skin, that would make them easier for us to be comfortable with them. I thought, no. Human skin on a robot would not make me feel more comfortable. That creeps me out even more. But here it comes. We're chuckling about it. But in about 5 years from now, at least 10 years from now, everybody's going to be like, you don't have a robot butler? What is it, 1955? What year do you think it is? Come on. Get yourself a robot butler.
I still don't trust those those little robot
Roombas.
Vacuum cleaners.
Oh my God! I just slept over at my friend's house, Deb and Steve. They live in Brainerd. Awesome people, KQ listeners. But I slept over at their house on my birthday, and I was downstairs. The Roomba was on upstairs. I thought like a severe thunderstorm was going on. It was like boom, like crashing into stuff. I was like very scared what was going on upstairs.
It's like a drunken robot. We have one of those. It's just stumbling around going, oh, sorry, I didn't see it there.
When drunken Zepp meets the drunken robot in the middle of the night for the piss break, that should be fun.
Oh my God, they're nuts.
Does it actually do it? Does it actually clean the floor?
They
or
love
is it just there to terrorize your cat?
They love it.
You mean the people do? I thought you meant the cats love it.
Oh, no.
Well, I guess perhaps, they're shielded from the sound. Exactly. I'm not thinking of living in an apartment with somebody with a Roomba crashing around all night. All right, we got to get cooking along here. We do have a game show at 8 o'clock. Your choice of prizes, I think. I don't even know. I haven't looked at this morning, but I'm excited about it. Here at 7:30, satisfying our commitment to public service. That's an FCC requirement. We're offering up some advice. I'll confess, this dentist advice, 4 things that will destroy your mouth, caught me a little off guard. I thought I floss, I brush my teeth. What do I have to worry about? A few things, actually. And a 102-year-old with advice for each decade of our life. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, June the 29th. Brush your teeth, for God's sakes. Whew. I tell you what, I've been ignoring dentists for years. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's not a good idea. Not really at all. Actually, I haven't been ignoring dentists for years, but I started life ignoring my parents when they said, did you brush your teeth? You need to brush your teeth. Go brush your teeth. My answer was always like, yep, I already did it. And then I found myself with a whole host of dental issues. Somewhere along the way, I recognized that nothing sucks more than being in the dentist chair. So I look after myself. I do the best I can. And if you, like me, are concerned with dental health, tooth health, gum health, the whole shebang, you may be interested to hear what a dentist says are some things to avoid. This guy is there's an Instagram account, Dr. M with a blank space. I don't know where he's from. I don't know anything about this dude, but he put something on his Instagram account. He is a dentist, and he explained a few things that he thinks 4 things we really need to be aware of. I, for one, am aghast at some of this. But please, if you would, hit this audio so we can all look at ourselves in the mirror and wonder where we all went so wrong.
Cough drops destroy your teeth. Because they're full of sugar and most people who use them suck on them for hours, we see tons of cavities because of them. Number 2, whitening toothpaste do not whiten your teeth. They just contain more abrasives and they don't actually whiten the internal tooth structure of teeth, where most staining or yellowing comes from. Number 3, sharing utensils or kissing your children on the lips could transfer cavity-causing bacteria to them. The best thing to do is get your cavities filled before you have kids so you can lower your risk of transferring it to them. Number 4, MDMA, also known as ecstasy or Molly, causes tons of dental issues.
Oh, that's the one that got me.
Wait a minute. Yeah. This changes everything. I need to go back to bed.
Yeah, rethink your life a little bit. I use the teeth whitening. I mean, it doesn't seem to be doing much, but I thought let's put up the good fight. All the major manufacturers have the teeth whitening, and some of them have like 4 or 5 different versions of teeth whitening. I just picked up some of that charcoal stuff, trying to battle all of my vices.
Sure.
And but apparently that's all for naught, and it's actually damaging my teeth.
God, I have an appointment today for a cleaning at noon, and they're gonna
beware.
They're gonna lecture me on my Molly use.
They're gonna say, Tony, between the ecstasy and those damn cough drops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hey, I'm guilty with that one. I've worked a cough drop bag or 2 in the day, and when I get the sore throat or when I have a cough or anything, I'll suck down the Ricola. I'll go right to the Swiss Alps for hours on end.
Right.
I will. Like when when you see someone light a cigarette with their old cigarette, that's me with cough drops. I am right as I crunch at the very end when I finally resist, when I can no longer resist the urge to bite, I'm already putting the next one in my mouth.
Favorite flavor?
Whichever one's handy, but I like the original. I go back to the straight up, although I've tried them all.
Really? That clear hulls, that kind of a clear looking, that milky looking clear one that had no flavor. It was just pure menthol.
Remember the commercial Mentholyptus, and it had it looked like one of those. It just that image they would put on the screen that just I guess it was implied all the heat going into your lungs from the cough drop.
Clearing the sinuses. Well,
the key is Mentholyptus. And talk about something in the future. In my mind, when I was a kid, I used to think, man, there'll be a day when it was kind of like Willy Wonka, but I would look at cough drops and things like that, and I was like, what if this was your whole meal? Mm-hmm. Remember Willy Wonka had the gum that, he was like a 7-course meal and a piece of gum? I used to think about that stuff.
A nutritional pellet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and how about so now you've rotted your teeth with your obsessive cough drop use, and then you give your little kids, your little toddlers, a peck on the lips, just one of those little things you get to do, and you've transferred all that bad bacteria to their mouths, you monster.
I like he said, get your fillings taken care of, get your cavities taken care of before you have kids. Is that on anyone's checklist? Thinking of having a baby. Hold on. Let me call my dentist.
Of all the things you've got to prepare for, now I've got to go in and get my cavities filled and my teeth cleaned. Can you afford? God, yeah, there's too much to think about in life. Just floss and brush occasionally, right?
Hey, quick shout out. You know, I got a dentist. His name's Steve Gorman. I'm not lying. I recommend everybody get a dentist who has the same name as you. Candace, there's got to be a Dr. Candace Wheeler out there somewhere. Find her.
I will, but did I tell you guys I had a oral surgeon once named Dr. Jabs?
Oh, funny.
How was that spelled?
Like you'd think.
Jabs? Wow, I've never seen that name. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he was good looking.
Was a hottie?
He was the scary name for a dentist.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want is a good-looking dentist because they're going to look in your mouth. Just open your mouth and look in the mirror. No one has an attractive inside of their mouth. They get to see all of that. Ugh.
The way I look at it, I mean, a big part of the reason I wanted to come and join the KQ Morning Show, I like being around good-looking people, and you guys, top notch.
Don't blame
me.
me.
Hey, man, who hasn't been lost in Tony Lee's eyes? Who?
Magical.
Who among us can say that?
Haunting, some say.
So, listen, if you want to live your life well, if you'd like a well-lived life, okay, we've discussed the fact that dental health is a part of it, but check this out. There's a woman in Arizona. She's 102 years old, Gladys McGarry. She is not retired. She's still working. She has delivered many a baby in her life. She's had quite a run at this human thing, and she has a new book called The Well-Lived Life. And she offers advice for every decade of your life. So I want to let's go around the room and see if any of us can relate to what Gladys is dropping down here. This is what she says about our 20s. Use them to grow up a little, but also to find what you're passionate about. Here's a quote. Your 20s are a time when you start to get serious. You have to put your energy into where you want to go. It's about finding your juice, by which she means your purpose in life. Mm-hmm. Candace, is that when you look back on your 20s, the halcyon days of your 20s, is that what you think? Did you find your juice?
Yeah, I did. I found it.
Good answer.
And I milked it.
How'd you end up in radio then?
Wait, hold on. You milked juice? That's confusing.
Juice. Yeah.
I guess it beats juice in your milk.
I'm weird.
Tony, your 20s. Did you find your juice?
Boy, that was a time of irresponsibility and silliness.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You spent your teens streaking. What the hell did your 20s mean if that was the irresponsible decade?
Yeah, that was fun. I was in an improv comedy group.
I
got my first radio job.
Nice.
That was a
Zep, 20, was the 20s a grease fire, or did it start to make sense?
Oh, no, it's a grease fire that started and hasn't been completely put out. I found my juice. I just didn't pursue it.
I gotcha. All right,
I wanted to do this with my life. Probably still do. It's my passion. But instead, I'm, spinning this wheel.
I feel pretty good about my 20s because I was a broadcasting student, and then I quit that and bought a drum kit, and I still do both to this day. So, yeah, I'd say I juiced up in the 20s pretty well. Your 30s, do not get too stuck in your ways. People tend to settle into habits by their 30s, or you might feel like you still don't have things figured out yet. Either way, don't feel like you can't make a change. Here's the quote from the book. There's still so much to do and so much to reach for. Life doesn't truly begin until your 40s, Candace Wheeler.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, what? I have frog in my throat. I'm sorry.
I like Candace went straight to the breathy, oh, thank God. I think, but that, I agree with that. Like, how many, we can all look around. We can look in the mirror a little bit, and we can also certainly look at other people and really see it. But there's a lot of habit settling in the 30s. A lot of people get it. That's when the rut starts, man. That's when you hit the rut.
Yeah, my clothes fit differently than they did in my 20s.
Well, there's that too.
The proportions are different. Everything's a little different.
The road.
Chances are that's going to continue to evolve. Got to say. Yeah. 40s and 50s. Now she's clumping decades. If you can figure out how to take control of your life in your 40s and 50s, they can be the best years of your life. Sorry, Tony. It's all in the rear view for you. Don't worry about keeping pace with other people. Just lean on your experience and focus on what's important to you. It's also important to leave hurtful things in the past. Amen, sister, on that one. 40s and 50s, drop off the bags at the curb and keep moving, folks. That's what we're trying to say here.
Yeah, that's good advice.
It's really good advice.
Forward.
Yeah, keep on moving, you guys.
Keep on keeping on.
60s and 70s, realize how wise you are.
Old.
Well, 70 used to mean you were old, but not anymore.
Yeah, you're old at 70.
Are you?
Yeah. Old as hell.
I don't know.
Really?
I feel like I'm going to live like 150.
My God, why would you want to do
Well,
that?
hey,
I want to live a long time. I really
They do say that the first 150-year-old human has already been born.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are, but they say that all the damn time.
Yeah.
I wish they'd shut up about it. How about this? Your 80s and 90s. Finally, remember, you can still change almost anything you want to and find new things to explore. Realize your inner child is still in there and just keep on living.
Change
Amen.
your diaper, yeah.
That's oh, come on.
If you're job hunting in your 90s.
She made it to 102 because of genetics, let's be honest.
Well, do you know, are her siblings all still alive, Zepp? Do you know this?
No, the one ended up committing suicide by being sucked into an airplane engine. That was weird. And then, that was it. And the other one, I think she murdered and got away with.
Did hear about that one. Yeah, that's tough. So three of us feel pretty good about this list, and Zepp is casting aspersions, I believe would be the expression.
I like aging. I feel like I get better looking as I get older. Like I feel like looking back in pictures, I looked like a total dork and awkward, and you know what I mean. It's just I feel like you come into your own when you get older. And I have a great inspiration. My great grandma Mabel lived till she was like 106, and at that time she was getting it. She was she was getting it.
You get comfortable with your style.
I just the whole concept of life gets better just doesn't jive with me. Life's been great from day one. Since I remember, I mean, I'm having as much fun at 57 as I did at 47, 37, 27, 17.
Boy.
Maybe, being a little boxed in at the home family farm out there was, created some angst as you're going through those teenage years. But
maybe.
This whole life gets better. It doesn't truly start till 40. Bullshit. Life's been going on for a long time now, and enjoy all of it. It's just as enjoyable today as it always has been.
Did a rainbow just show up in the room? Does that just happen?
I know that it's just they keep trying to sell us this. Well, you'll be happy in your 50s. Well, I was happy in my 40s. I mean, be happy now, today.
Dude, if you won the game, walk off the court and shake hands. You don't have to rub it in our face. I was miserable in my mid-30s. It happens. Come on, we all have. That's not true. I was miserable in my late 20s. I will admit to that.
There are miserable moments, there's a year here and there, and things happen, no doubt about it. But
things do happen. Hey, speaking of something happening, check this out. Friday, July 21st, 92 KQRS's Rock the Boat 80s party. We are going to be out with Paddleford River Boats. We're going to launch from Harriet Island in downtown St. Paul for a night of drinks, free food from Lucky's 13 Pub, and live music from Rough House. That is the KQRS Rock the Boat 80s party. Tickets are on sale right now at 92kqrs.com.
Or why not win them right now on the Maple Grove Lock and Save Talk and Text line? Callers 9 and 2, 651-989-ROCK. Get to play. What the hell does that mean? For tickets, your choice. Is it going to be Bryan Adams, Monday, July 3rd at Excel Energy Center, prize provided by Live Nation, or the 92 KQRS Rock the 80s Boaty Party. Rock the Booty Party, baby. That's an 80s term, isn't it? Booty. Friday, July 21st, Paddleford River Boats. Join us for free food, Lucky's 13 Pub, live music from everything Steve just said. Drinks on the river. You choose if you win. 651-98-ROCK. I just can't do it. Good luck. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zepp, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Photographed by Def Leppard. Let's not kid ourselves. There's never been a better 9-arm band.
The best probably of all time. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. And by the way, I say that with nothing but love and 100% respect for the members of Def Leppard. The only band ever who, when told their drummer lost an arm, would have said, all right, well, we'll take a few years off till he figures out how to play with one arm. That is just not what bands do. I think Def Leppard should have been immediately put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they did that. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame didn't even exist then. They should have created it just to put them in. The Rock and Roll Humanity Hall of Fame. I love that about that band.
Yeah, and they were at the apex of their career when that happened, too. They had every reason in the world to say, hey, sorry, mate, we love you. We'll take care of you, but we've got to drive on here.
Pyromania had just blown up. They were absolutely ascendant, and then basically a 3-year break. But then, of course, they came back. And the first album with the 9-arm version of the band was Hysteria, which had 7 massive hits. So I guess that karma paid them back right away on that one. Mm-hmm. Anyway, as per usual and as always, hats off to Def Leppard. Good lads, all of them. Right now, speaking of good lads and lady, we're going to give away some cool stuff because we like to give stuff away on the KQ Morning Show. We've got Brian Adams playing the XL Energy Center Monday, July 3rd. We also have a little something called the 92 KQRS Rock the Boat 80s Party. And right now, we have 2 callers on the line. They're going to play a game. They're going to compete against each other. The winner gets to choose which of those 2 events they will attend. The runner-up will take the other. And that, my friends, is about all I need to say about this. Tony, what are we playing today?
This is special for our Smarty Pants listeners.
What the hell does that mean? That means whatever the hell you want it to mean.
What the hell is even that?
What the hell does that mean?
What the hell does that mean?
So impress us with your exemplary vocabulary. You'll pick the legit definition from the made-up ones and score big.
Oh, big score for sure. All right, great. We're going to test your word wealth, your word wisdom on the morning show. Candace, who is contestant number 1?
Cole from Zimmerman.
Cole from Zimmerman, good morning.
Good morning. How's Steve today?
Everybody's good, man. Everybody's good. How's Cole today?
Wonderful.
Beautiful. Are you ready to play? The hell does that mean?
I sure am.
I like it. Tony, take it away.
All right, Cole, here we go. Your first one is paleobotany. Is it A, the study of ancient plants, B, a diet to try when your ficus needs to drop a few, or C, what you yell out when it's time for everyone to come in from playing hide and seek? Paleobotany.
A.
Good for you.
I'm hearing bells dinging. Woo.
Nice start. Number 2, Quackle. Is it A, a board game that's fun for the whole family, B, to choke or suffocate, or C, Donald Duck's substance-abusing son? Quackle.
B as in boy.
Yes, sir.
And what was that definition again, Tone?
Quackle, to choke or suffocate. You quackle.
Say it again.
Oh, my. I got to remember.
Quackle.
I got to bring that one into the regular lexicon. That sounds good.
Candace, you had a
Not so much the
name.
choking, but just the usage of the word is really what I'm thinking
You had
about.
a stuffed animal with that name, didn't you, Candace?
Yeah, I love Quackle.
Little Quackle.
No.
All right, number 3 is Ratoon. Is it A, a planet from Star Wars where Lando Calrissian had a condo? B, a small shoot growing from the root of a plant? Ratoon? Or C, after a few beers, what Zepp says he's going to go hunting for? I'm going to shoot a raccoon.
Let's go B.
No wonder I never get one.
Man. Cole is coming out of the gate strong at 3 for 3. Well done so far, sir.
Cole is hot.
Thank you.
Here's your last one, Cole. Jaculiferous. A, in private, what you might like to do to your liferous. B, having arrow-like prickles. Or C, Steve Gorman's next-door neighbor. Jack
Let's go B again.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice job.
Having air-like what? Prickles?
Arrow-like prickles.
Oh,
Sharp.
arrow-like.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sharp prickles.
Fair enough.
Prickles.
Cole from Dillon going 4 for 4. Well done, sir.
Oh, Cole.
Thank
All
you. I
right.
appreciate it.
We're gonna put you on ice for a minute, and then we'll see how your competitor does. But again, strong effort from Cole. Candace, who is contestant number 2?
Mark from Andover.
Mark from Andover. Good morning.
Morning.
Are you ready to play? What the hell does that mean?
Readier than ever.
I like that attitude, my friend. Well, Cole ran the table, so you got your work cut out for you. Good luck to you.
Darn Cole.
I know. Cole is always being Mr. Perfect. All right, kick him in the shins, Mark. Let's do this.
Here's your first one, Marcus. The word is burly. Is it A, someone who is large and strong, B, a perfect name for a drinking buddy, or C, if I had a brother and his name was Burl?
Ooh, I think we're going to have to go with A.
Very nice.
I like that.
Honey, I'm getting a liney with burly. Doesn't that sound like a drinking buddy name?
It does sound like a drinking buddy name.
Marky, number 2 is kinship. A, what it becomes when the family boards a pontoon boat. B, a close relationship. Or C, after a few beers, what Candace says she wants to put on her French fries.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think I'm going to have to go with C.
Oh, my goodness.
Mark.
I would put some kinship on my fries.
Wow.
I'm going to check this out because I feel like you guys are wrong on this one.
I love this.
You're never wrong, so.
Wow.
Wow.
Mark from Andover almost went deep with the accusation there and then backtracked it. Thought better of it. No, very few people have crossed Tony Lee and lived to tell the tale. I can tell you that.
I figured.
Very scary. Kinship.
All right.
We have kinship here.
We
Marcus.
do.
I agree.
And and I actually take it on a lot more than my fries.
You know, if it makes any sense, I only failed because I'm hoping he wants Brian Adams tickets. I'm just trying to get nautical.
That's right.
Oh,
It's a good
boy.
strategy. You
Nautical.
not failing.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to define nautical in a few minutes because the way it's going right now, you're nautical going to have a chance at that one. Anyway,
know.
Tony, let's go with clue number 3 for Mark, who's throwing the competition. He's completely, it's like I don't want to use the word cheating, but he's a cheater. Go ahead.
Strategic. Marco, here's your last 2. The word is frankenfood. Is it A, genetically modified food, B, Applebee's Halloween promotional appetizer, or C, an unsuccessful stand-up comedy team from the 80s?
It's going to be A.
Wow. Good. He's back on track now, man. He's coming around the bend. That baton is waving. He's like, woo. 4th leg of the relay. Look out.
Here's your last one, Marco. The word is earth. Is it A, the sound that comes out if Mike Tyson were to punch you in the stomach? B, a plot of land? Or C, the planet where we all live?
I think that's going to be C. Darn.
Sorry. Earth. It's a plot of land.
Earth. How do you spell that?
E-R-F.
I thought so.
Oh,
Earth.
I thought it was E-A-R-T-H. Heard it wrong.
Some controversy.
Man, all right.
Well, we're all prize winners here.
Yeah, speak from your
we are all
diaphragm,
prize
Tony.
winners, but so Mark, we understand. I appreciate you playing 2 games at once here. But Cole from Zimmerman, you are the winner. You win 4 for 4. So Cole, you have the choice right now: Brian Adams tickets or the KQRS Rock the Boat 80s party. What are you going to do, bud?
Brian Adams, because I'm not a singer.
Right on. Cole from Zimmerman is going to see Brian Adams Monday night. You're going to miss that laser show at the park. Brian Adams at the XL's Energy Center. That's going to be a good time. And it looks like Mark from Andover, it looks like he gamed the system perfectly. He's going to get nautical with us on the Rock the Boat 80s party. Congrats and thank you both, gentlemen.
Thank you,
guys. Congratulations, Cole.
There it is.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Good
There,
sport.
look at that. I love that.
Yeah.
They've got kinship.
He's going to trash talk him off the phone to his friends all day, but I like that. That's good sportsmanship.
That is a great example of good kinsmanship here on planet Earth.
Mark really wants to go on that boat.
Yeah, Mark does want to
We've
go
been
on that
talking
boat.
about it for a while.
Oh.
If I were you, I'd stop talking like this. There you go. Get that voice back up high where it belongs, sister.
Take that bass out your voice.
Looks like someone else wants to get nautical. Naughty girl. Okay, real quick. I got a beef. Generally speaking, I just thought I'd share this with you.
Say it.
It pisses me. It's going to piss you off more, Candace. You're Miss Italy 2023. The Roman Colosseum. Ever heard of it? Yeah, it's a building that's been around for 2,000 years. And last week, somebody put on their Instagram account as they were touring the Colosseum, they walked up on a young man who was etching into a stone on the Colosseum. He wrote the words Ivan plus Haley 23.
Oh, that's love. That's Italy right there. That's
Dink.
what it does to you. It just brings, I mean, yeah, what a dink.
The guy holding the phone, filming this, said, "Are you serious, man?" And the kid doing it just turns around and gives a little laugh. And the woman does nothing because she's thinking, this is so romantic. He's putting my name on the Colosseum because our love is going to last 2,000 years, too. The Colosseum staffers, when shown the video, didn't really seem to care that much. However, local police are pretty chippy about it. They're saying they're trying to find this kid. He's facing a $25,000 fine as well as, wait for it, possible jail time. Because the Colosseum, as you may well imagine, is a World Heritage Site.
Yeah.
You don't carve your initials into the Colosseum. Ivan.
Think of all the people that were brutally murdered there. Innocent people. Come
Yes.
on, a little respect.
When you have stood in the hot Roman sun and watched a lion eat a man, and then 2,000 years later, someone carves their initials into that wall, for God's sakes, what's the matter with this? We've just all lost the track of things.
Yeah, if you had taken her inside the Colosseum and brutally murdered her, perhaps, we could understand that kind of behavior. But no, that's, this is the reason it drives me crazy every day I get on. And I had spent some time around Yellowstone National Park and have visited there many times. But every day some hooplehead is trying to dip their toes in the hot pools, and break all the rules and get a selfie with a bison and all of these things. It drives me crazy. I'm a little disappointed in the wildlife there because guess who I'm rooting for in that selfie? But,
of course.
But yeah, it's to the point now where, there are just so many. I'm just stick with the word hoopleheads, the old South Dakota term for just a numbskull that visits so many national parks. It drives me crazy. I have to kind of stay away from it. It's if I had caught this guy, I think I would have, carved hooplehead in his forehead.
What's a hoople?
I don't even really know. It's just an old South Dakota term for someone acting like a dumbass, hooplehead, I guess.
Hooplehead is a word you would have heard on the HBO show Deadwood.
Oh, all right. Well, there it goes. South Dakota.
And that was in South Dakota. Yeah. That's where the term. That's where it first came across my radar.
Now that makes sense. Yeah, I just grew up with it. It was always around. So I did Google it one time just to make sure I wasn't being super. Some of those old terms you don't know where they come from, originate. You want to be careful.
I must have invented this. I thought you said once, or maybe I asked you, but clearly not. A hooplehead I thought was like a term for a tweaker, if you will.
Oh,
someone who's been awake for 13 days. But you just use it as a general, just a normal, like anybody in traffic.
Yeah, I think I think it just got watered down over the years because we heard it so much in South Dakota. Just the original meaning, but I may have to revisit that. I'll just go with numbskull from now on. Well, I'll tell you, we stumbled across some pretty cool Guinness World Records. We hadn't come into the show this morning thinking about this, but some cool Guinness World Records set right here in Minnesota or by Minnesotans, and we're going to share those with you at 8:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, June the 29th. Irish family, the Gormans. A few generations back, it was, in fact, O'Gorman. That's actually true. I'm not making that up. That may have something to do with why I love trivia so much. But even more than that, I like Guinness. Let's just call it what it is. And when they came up with the Guinness Book of World Records, they had me in mind. I'm here to tell you. Because I love a list of things. I like seeing people accomplish great. And I like a pint of Guinness when I think and contemplate these things. I spent my childhood with a copy of that book in the house thinking about those fingernails. Remember that guy with the fingernails in the Guinness Book of World Records?
And the fattest
I believe he lived in India. And he had the longest fingernails ever. And it looked like he was just holding on to hornet hives.
Hey, and we all wondered, how does he wipe?
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We wondered a few things. That's the one I'll mention on air. Yeah, we sure did.
Just yesterday, how about this little maniac on the keyboard? 300 words per minute.
Oh, that's right. Typing 300 words per minute. That is incredible. I saw a Guinness Book of World Records. I saw a Guinness World Record was set recently for the fastest Rubik's Cube. Did you see that video?
No, I haven't watched it yet. You were talking about it.
They have these competitions where someone is seated at a table. They put a Rubik's Cube in front of them, and it's covered. It's got like a little towel over it. They lift the towel. They allow the contestant to hold the cube. Can't move any of the pieces, but he can look at it. He like picks it up and he moves it around in his hands just to look at where things are to get his brain algorithm fired up so that when the timer goes, he'll know how to, what move he wants to make first. Right. So you see this video, a kid picks up a Rubik's Cube. He has 10 seconds or so to just take it in and think. And then he sets it back down, puts his hands on his lap, and then they say 3, 2, 1, go. And they say go, and he picks up the Rubik's Cube, and he goes, and he solves it in 3.13 seconds.
How can you even turn it that quickly?
It's real, too. I mean, this is a legit competition, and he sets it down, and everybody loses their mind, including you when you watch the video.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. Now, that young man is not in the state of Minnesota, but there are several world records in the Guinness Book set either in the state of Minnesota or by Minnesotans. And, as a way to just inspire all of us to think about what record we might try to break, I thought we'd share some of these with you.
All right.
Anybody was there one in particular as a kid? Did you ever think like that's the one I want to go for? Did anyone ever actually give an honest thought to a Guinness World Record that you might have a shot at?
You guys know me. I'm just weird. I mean, there's something very, very wrong. I thought it would be cool when I was a kid. I am a hoople head.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Thank you for getting the reference there. Stripes. But when I was a kid, I thought it would be cool. This is so asinine, which is a word my mom loved to use when I was a kid. That just brought it up. Brian, you're being asinine. Well, I wanted to break more bones than Evel Knievel.
Okay.
You did.
I got off to a good start there, but thankfully.
How many have you?
But it turns out they hurt, and so
you meant your own bones. I thought you were thinking other people's.
I'm not quite that violent.
Get
I have
mallet.
I have a big bark. I don't walk the walk. But no, my own bones by doing daredevil stuff that I loved to do when I was a kid. But then I broke a few and went, no, that sucks. You can't pay me enough.
How many broken bones have you broke? How many have there been in your life?
I think at last count it was like 11 or 12, something like that.
No kidding. That's a lot of broken bones, bud.
Busted, and that's just a bone broken. I mean, I had one bone. The last one was broken in four places. What about you, Steve? You ever want to break a world record?
I probably did, but I can't. I always think about that guy with the fingernails. And then the longest beard was always a great one. But as I've mentioned,
that was mine.
I'm challenged. I am beard challenged, sadly. Yeah. But I guess I was just really into the growing parts of your body out concept.
I have a feeling Candace is beard challenged as well. I can't pick. I don't know if you're such a blondie. I wonder if you'd have a dark beard.
Oh.
It'd
be something, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
The beard
there was a time There was a time in the mid '80s when I would have attempted whatever the Taco Bell bean burrito world record is.
Oh yeah.
Seriously, man. I mean, there was it's nothing I'm proud of. But anyway, back to actual Guinness World Records. Here's the first one that jumped out at me. Most people spinning a basketball simultaneously. December of 2014, the Alexandria Aces performance basketball team set a world record. 132 people spun a ball for at least 1 minute each together in a group.
Yeah, wow.
That's pretty tough. I played basketball my whole life. I can't spin a ball for a minute on a finger. I never could.
I was just going to ask you that. I would have bet money that you could, but no. Did you ever try to learn, or you just never got around? All right.
No, tried enough to realize I don't have to. It's just going to be nothing but frustration.
It can go a few seconds. That's it.
Yeah. I also, by the way, don't spin sticks when I drum. I can't spin sticks. I can't do that thing where you just sit there like, isn't this cool?
What about that one where you throw it way up in the air and then catch it right in mid-beat?
I throw it way up in the air away from me. That's what I do.
Let it go.
I get rid of sticks all the time. It doesn't feel good. I'll just throw it. I'm done with this.
I'll just put a symbol on your head.
Whatever it takes, man. So no, I never learned how to spin a basketball like that. How about this? August of 2017, the Mall of America celebrated its 25th birthday by setting a new record. The most cupcakes iced in 1 hour.
Oh.
Wow.
All right.
941 cupcakes were iced by people at the mall. In an hour?
Yeah,
only 941? It doesn't feel like you could get more than that done in an hour. I mean, how big are these cupcakes?
Yeah,
Sounds
how
like
neat do you have to put it on? Just go slather it and move on.
By the way, another record
Not
set the
impressed.
same day. On the same day, it says another record was set. Most people wearing cone-shaped party hats. I'm not making this up. 481 people wore conical hats at the same time. Again, that would be just buy a 500 pack and go to the mall and break that record.
Come on, Minnesota. We can do better than this.
That's what I'm saying. These are not unassailable, conquests.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, geez. Here
Is
we
there
go
anything
again.
better, I hope? More
Here
impressive.
is, how about this? Is actually pretty great. This is weird that this would be in the Guinness Book of World Records, but I guess it is. In 2019, the Minnesota Twins set a new world record for most home runs in one season.
All right.
Oh.
There you go.
307 home runs in 2019. Eclipsing the previous record of 267. Yeah, by 40. That's an ass kicking is what that is.
No kidding. I'm trying to remember how they did that year, But let me guess. Out in the first round?
They did not. There's not a World Series championship associated with that year, for whatever that's worth. Let's see. Wake surfing 360s. Think do any wake surfing out there?
Yeah, no. I'll get down on the knees, but as far as the real serious stuff, I think for sure water skiing, I know down in Lake Pepin, I believe, was invented right here in Minnesota, but I thought wake surfing might have been too. I could be off on that. Might be a California thing, but no, wake surfing. That's cool. What was the world record?
A woman named Stacia Banks says she grew up flipping through the world records and told herself one day she would set one herself, so we can all relate to that. September of 2017, the most wake surfing 360s in 1 minute. She completed 31 of those.
Oh,
that's pretty good. All right, that one I'm like, that's impressive.
Yeah. Wakeboarding on the lake, 31. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that one.
Yeah, pretty good. Let's see. What else? Bob, I wish there was something more that we would then be inspired to try to go, beat ourselves. How about this? Most bicycles donated to charity in 24 hours.
All right.
What? Okay, Free Bikes for Kids set the world record for most bikes donated to charity in 24 hours. 5,512 bikes were donated at the Mall of America to go to people in need. All right, that's nice, but come on, give me the longest kiss. Right. Give me the longest holding your breath underwater in a shark tank. I mean, give me something.
All right, it sounds like we need to step up here for Steve.
I mean, these are great and it's wonderful, but largest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles gathering. Come on, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Pick up the pace.
Right.
Most oysters swallowed in 4 minutes, or just how many bottles of Tabasco can you inhale, like literally inhale? That's what I want to see.
All right, we're going to have to maybe come up with some of the most extreme Guinness World Records. We'll have to type that one in and challenge some Minnesotans to step up for us. They could win, they could be on the party cruise with us if you break a Guinness World Record. Can they join us for the 80s boat cruise?
That'd be nice for them to try. Candace, do we have a caller quickly?
We have Matt from Inver Grove Heights.
Matt, good morning.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
All is well, sir. What's on your mind today?
Hey, I was going to tell. Hey, Zepp, this is Matt from the State Fair.
Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm getting by.
Say, I was going to tell you guys. So every year there's a gal that comes out to the fair, and obviously I never know when she's going to be out, but I usually see her, and she's got the fingernails that drag on the ground. She has with her, and she has a special thing that holds her arms up. And it took me a couple years to figure out what it was, but it's just amazing.
Yeah, because it weighs her down.
Yeah, because she can't let them touch the ground. I suppose they'd break, but they're huge.
I've seen photographs of this woman. I have not seen her in person, and maybe this year at the State Fair.
I should try to find it. I'll send it to you.
Is there a reason other than to try to be in the Guinness Book for someone to grow their nails out that long?
Honestly, and I might be off on that, but I'm pretty sure we read a story about this lady some years ago, and she does it to remember one of her kids. To be honest, I'm tossing that out there because we're going to track it down. I know I want to mock the whole silliness of it as well, but I think she does it for a very pure sentimental reason. But there again, how and why that particular thing, and you just talk about one of the most inconvenient things you can do in life.
Yeah,
you can't do anything.
I'm just going to move forward with the theory that she just thought one day, I would love for the KQ Morning Show to talk about me. Job well done.
If I see her this year, I might try to talk to her and just see what it's all about. But she does draw quite a crowd.
Yeah,
I bet.
Well, yeah, she's the new freak show out there. They outlawed that. So Lobster Boy was a big thing here, Steve. He was a mainstay at the State Fair Freak Show up until when, Tony? I'm not talking the 50s here, 40s or something like that. But in the 80s, you could still go out there, and he was just this little cussing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right. But he was a foul man. Yeah. And he just sort of became a kind of a state folk hero. Can I call him a folk hero, Lobster Boy?
He came by that surly disposition, honestly. We can at least give him that. Hey, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, brother. Keep us posted if you see this woman.
Hey, Brian, we did that ride yesterday. I sent you some pictures.
I just saw the pictures this morning. Went down there and rode in Lake Okoboji with 75 Vietnam veterans.
Nice.
Thank you for the photos. Thanks for going down and doing that. What an amazing ride.
That is awesome.
Great guys.
Yeah, outstanding. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate the pics. Thanks for calling in this morning.
Hey, thanks, you guys.
Hey, 92KQRS has your shot to win free gas for a year. Listen weekdays at 9, 2, and 5 for your keyword to text to win $92.50 in free gas, plus tickets to an upcoming show at the Medina Entertainment Center. And you will be entered for a chance to win free gas, again, for a year. Sponsored by Body Gastroenterology. What do they know about gas? As well as Quick Trip. I did mention that you should listen weekdays at 9. Ding, ding, ding. That's right around the corner.
Yeah, no kidding. I know we're up against the clock here, but do we have time for one more caller since we don't have a guest here at 9 o'clock? Can we push it a little bit? One quickie?
Sure.
Let's go crazy.
Let's go crazy. Greg from Prior Lake.
Greg, good morning.
Greg, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'll make it quick because I know you guys need another cup of coffee. You really don't need it, but a shout out there for Minnesotans are going to step up to the plate and break a record September 9th on Prior Lake. The Prior Lake Water Ski Association, or Midwest Water Ski Association, is going to break a record of 93 water skiers, 4-tier pyramid.
Ooh, that's cool.
900 horsepower boat. I don't know what boat it is, but I'm going to park my boat out there and watch it. Starts at 6 in the morning. You never know when they're going to complete the pyramid.
How many people?
Right now, the record is 93, which is held in Wisconsin from last year.
Oh, my.
So now we're trying to break that this year.
And a
And
four-tiered
Prior
pyramid.
Lake, Lower Prior Lake is a no-wake zone from 6 a.m. till sunset.
Just takes one person to go.
Oh, I know. I mean, I don't want to see it, but I do want to see but I don't, because I want to take that away from Wisconsin. All right, so that's happening September 9th on Prior Lake. Going 93. Oh, cool. No, we'll need them up there. We'll need, if I'm flying around up there, I'm going to need my fast food up there somewhere. That's just around the corner.
How
well.
ill-suited are we for the future? We're talking about flying cars and restaurants you can fly your car to in space, where 3 days ago we were talking about selling hot dogs on a pontoon boat.
Right, exactly. We've come a long way, baby. Well, we had Samantha call into the show earlier, a couple hours ago when we were talking about this, and she worked for some super secretive company that you can't mention on the air, but this goes back a decade where the FAA was getting involved. This is something they've been... they're working towards. It's not just, hey, we pulled this out of our butt today. Sure, go ahead and test a flying car. So, I mean, I'm on the KQRS Facebook page. Things you thought you'd never see. I love the legal weed. We chuckle about it, but tell us in the 1980s, when we're trying to buy ditch weed from that sketchy dude on the edge of town that lives in a house with no power. That weed was going to be legal someday. I mean, those were the just say no days. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Now I'm hungry for eggs. So legal weed. How about somebody just said Keith Richards? Things you never thought would be here in the future. Still here. But I mean, robots doing surgery. They say now as many as 20% of surgeries are done just by robots. Robots just do them. I don't know where the doctor's at. He's checked out. He's out playing golf. But the robots are doing it. So, I mean, don't even get me started on AI. Here we go with that crazy crap.
These flying cars are going to cost about $300,000. So it's not like everybody's going to rush out and get them. But still, don't you think that anybody that pays money for a flying car, there should be a community vote as to whether they're allowed to use it? Shouldn't you have to have like at least 1,000 signatures that say, yes, I trust that this person can operate a flying car without jeopardizing everyone else's health?
Yeah, that's
because think about the drivers think about all the drivers you don't know, but you see their work on a daily basis as we're all driving around the metro area. And then imagine adding flying to that group of people. See if that doesn't turn your stomach a little bit.
I mean, that would just be, looking at a swarm of mosquitoes as people are just trying to jockey in a position. I'm going around this way. It would be chaos. It would be like the old fighter jets up there, planes up there flying around trying to. Yeah, no, they would have to be autonomous. You just have to, okay, I'm going to fly, and now the machine takes over. Otherwise,
Zeb, you grew up. You're a South Dakota kid, small farming town. I got to think along the way, some kids are like, "Hey, let's go out and drag race on Route 29," right?
Oh yeah, 9th Street we called it, which was not anywhere near a town, just out in the middle of. I don't even know why the hell we called it 9th Street, but it was a hard top. We had a hard top out there, and you bet there was 9 miles. And you would hammer down. There was a couple of miles in there just good and flat. And, you raced your ass off.
So if you got a bunch of flying cars, then what's going to happen is not so much the racing, but I know me, and I know the kids I grew up with, we would be like, well, let's go do some Blue Angel stuff.
Right?
Let's play chicken in the flying car. And at the last second, I'll turn right, you turn left, and the bottoms of our cars will almost scrape.
Oh, yeah, that's the
How
other thing.
horrible is that going to go?
That's the other thing. There are no fender benders up in the air, There is no, when something goes wrong up there, down you come. I suppose you have to hit the auto eject or whatever, something like that. Yeah, they have to take it away from our human abilities to operate it. Once you hit the up and out of traffic, the machine's going to have to take over.
But now that I'm thinking about it, though, the Twin Cities and surrounding area, actually probably one of the safer places for a flying car revolution just because of all the water.
Yeah.
The crash landings are going to be a little easier to survive. We got so many places to put that thing in the drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Just make sure
all the Sully Sullenbergers out there in traffic are going to be a lot better off. Drop that bad boy and Harrier. I can see it all. It'll be good.
Yeah, look out. Flying cars.
It's again, it's a $300,000. $300,000 is the expected price tag, and again, the FAA has not said when they're going to start testing, but they have approved it. I'm a hard no. I'm still, you know what I'm going to do? Every time I see a flying car, I will then say, I think my reaction to the first time I see one is going to be like, I think I'm going to go play some putt-putt. I'm just going to want to go so far analog in the other direction. Just give me a windmill and a putter, and you guys enjoy the future just fine. Give me my live English soccer, and you have fun in your flying car. We'll call it a draw.
You'll be down here driving on roads with no traffic. Jerry chimed in here. This one, lab-grown meat. Did you ever think in your lifetime they'd be growing meat in a lab and serving it up? Yeah, there's a lot of restaurants out on the coast. There's a restaurant in New York, and I know there's one in Los Angeles, I was just reading the other day, that are now exclusively serving lab-grown chicken. That's all they'll serve there. It's humane. Candace, you're going to get your lab-grown ham out of this yet, so you don't have to worry about killing those little piggies.
Oh, piggies. They're so cute.
Yeah.
Have you killed those little piggies? Do you remember when there was the whole story? And I this is one of those I've always been meaning to investigate, but I remember Kentucky Fried Chicken, one day they rebranded and they just went down to KFC. Mm-hmm. And the story I heard was that they couldn't call it chicken because it technically was no longer chicken because it was all basically lab-grown chickens. Like they had, so they had to change the name because anyone ever hear that one, or is that just me? Is that just because I have roots in Kentucky that we said things like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that one ever made it to my ears. I don't think.
Yeah, okay. Well, then it probably isn't true.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, June 29th. A day after a historic day in Major League Baseball. I'm sad to say we have good news for the New York Yankees. Yesterday in Oakland. Well, look, it's just what it is. We're all thinking the same thing. Mm-hmm. Yesterday in Oakland, a pitcher for the New York Yankees, Domingo Germán, threw only the 24th perfect game in Major League history. That's kind of a big deal, as you can hear from the play-by-play.
Grounded to third. Donaldson has it. There it is. Perfection for Domingo Germán. Domingo Germán has thrown the 24th perfect game in baseball history.
I'm trying to think of the greatest accomplishment I've seen live as a sports fan. I've been to, countless games of different types over the years. I've never seen a perfect game. I've never seen a no-hitter in person. I saw Greg Maddux of the Braves at Yankee Stadium throw, I believe, an 84-pitch complete game.
Wow.
In 1997. The game took an hour and 50 minutes. 84 pitches total. Yeah, they had a few hits, though. I mean, the Yankees had a couple base runners. I'm trying to, I saw Michael Jordan live a bunch, but I never saw him get like 50 points or 60 points.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys ever been? Is there anything like that everybody would know the game you're referencing that you say I was there?
No, I mean, no. Yeah. I don't have any of that. I've never any of those big achievements. I mean, I thought this year when I just happened to stumble into when the Red Sox were in town and Ryan pitched a complete game, because you don't see those very much anymore.
No,
in
not at all.
Major League Baseball, but certainly not like a crowning achievement or anything like that. Nope. My sports viewing, I've been to a bunch over the years, but nothing up at the pinnacle like that. A perfect game. I mean, 24 in the well over 100 years of baseball is that stands alone.
Yeah, that's big time right there. I mean, I've seen I've seen Super Bowl, I've seen championship games, but those are historic just because of the nature of the game. But the totally unexpected, I can't believe I was there for that.
Yeah, I remember the Twins on the 4th. I just remember it because it was on the 4th of July and that awful Metrodome. 4th of July, 80 degrees out, a light breeze, not a cloud in the sky, and I'm wandering into the Metrodome. I don't know why, but I did see the Twins come down from, I think they were down 11 runs. They brought it back and tied it, ended up going into 13 innings, And it was just kind of exciting. It was a year, that was 92, right? Because it was the year after that World Series win, and that seemed pretty cool and wild. But nothing like a complete game. But I was watching some of the video after we talked about it early this morning for this complete game, and it's just wonderful to see the very superstitious baseball players surrounding Domingo, Germán, regarding this complete game. First couple of innings, he's just in there. He's one of the guys. He's hanging out, the whole thing. And as the game goes on, he gets more and more isolated. No one's talking to him. Yeah. No one's making eye contact. And then everyone is taking the field. This isn't another ball game. When you're going out there in the 8th and 9th inning, dear God, don't let anything happen where this gets screwed up. So at least a no-hitter,
At that point, I'm never worried about the pitcher as much as I am the shortstop or the second baseman, because one of those guys makes an error, it's going to they'll be so devastated. Remember the game, a pitcher for the Tigers had a perfect game, 2 outs in the 9th, and he gave up a ground ball, and the first base ump called the runner safe, although he was clearly out. Do you remember that from 6 or 7 years ago?
It sounds familiar.
And the umpire came in after the game and said, I blew it. Yeah. I cost the kid a perfect game. And the ump was crying. He was devastated. Yeah. I can't remember the pitcher's name, but it was one of the greatest, just the most incredible situation ever. Galarraga, Armando Galarraga, that was the kid's name.
Okay, yeah, I remember him.
And then the next day, before the two teams played the following day, Galarraga went out to the mound. He hugged the umpire. He said, hey, man, everybody makes mistakes. We're not perfect, even though he was 1 out away from a perfect game. Incredible situation right there.
Yeah, that's a champ move.
Yeah, it is a champ move. It was good stuff. The only other great sports note of the day was the NHL draft went down in Nashville, Tennessee, and it was nice. The Wild got a kid from a local kid they drafted in the first round who played a little college hockey over at Wisconsin. We'll see if it pans out. I mean, draft picks are just that. You don't really know. But the big story of the draft happened out on the street on Broadway in downtown Nashville. A kid named Alex Dougherty, he is a Nashville sports journalist of some sort. Among other things, he has a hockey podcast, and he was interviewing people doing a man-on-the-street segment. Hey, do you like hockey? What do you think of the draft? Who's your team? And he saw a guy approaching. He said, hey, can I talk to you for a few minutes? I do a hockey podcast. And the guy introduced himself as Kyle from Chicago. And the two of them talked hockey. Kyle from Chicago is Kyle Davidson, who is the general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks. And this kid, Alex Dougherty, he's not a kid, but I mean, he's a younger sports journalist, had no idea he was speaking to the Blackhawks GM. It sounded a little like this.
What's your name and where are you from?
Kyle from Chicago.
From Chicago?
Yeah.
You ever been to Nashville before?
A couple times, yeah.
For a Blackhawks game?
Yeah.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you say you know about hockey?
Probably I didn't play professionally or anything, so probably a 4.
Oh, wow, okay.
Fan of the sport, I don't know. Some people say I don't know that much, so.
Okay. Most of the 2010 or 2013 Chicago Blackhawks, were you watching that team?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that the league rigged the draft in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks?
No.
Pretty confident.
I'm very confident.
Okay, all right.
Trust me.
I love it.
And he's not only talking to any GM, but the GM with the number 1 pick in the NHL draft. I love that. Yeah, that's
I'm
amazing.
very confident.
There's no fix.
At one point, he said, how many NHL players can you name in 20 seconds? And he gave 17 names and said, the guy's like, hey, you really do know a little bit about hockey. I like that he says, well, some people say I don't know much.
I like it. And I like that Kyle Davidson's in town, obviously, for the NHL draft. They have the big pick, and he's wheeling and dealing. But he's wearing a gray T-shirt and his hat backwards. He looks like a man on the street kind of thing.
He does.
Not dressed GM-ish. But I wouldn't have known him if he was walking down the street. I've seen him a couple of times last year, behind a podium or something like that. But, yeah, he has the big scoop. And to this podcaster's credit, he went all in. The next day saying, hey, I blew it, but kind of did not, because I think I looked at his post I just scrolled down a little bit. He had 1,100 views on one of his Twitter videos. This one topping 2.5 million this morning.
Oh, it's blowing up. And there's two places where this will never be lived down, Chicago and especially Nashville for the kid.
Yeah.
The GM in Chicago just got a whole lot of new fans for being funny, and the kid in Nashville is going to get blown up forever by every other journalist he knows.
All right. Yeah, no doubt.
Fantastic. I had a really, really funny thing that just came and went right in my brain and right out the other side. These things happen sometimes.
Probably because I was going to interrupt you with that. But just Connor Bedard, by the way, was that 17-year-old chosen by the Blackhawks, the first overall pick. Anybody out there? See, it was a terrible thing to interrupt you with. I don't know why I did that. But.
Oh, that's quite all right. You saved me right there.
I don't know.
What? Okay, listen to that. That's so you and just piling on. Jeez, rough room.
When we were talking about great sports things we've seen, I was going to interrupt and say that I saw Richfield almost go to state in 2007.
Darn near.
For basketball. Santino Clay.
Really? Almost made it to state?
Yeah, we made T-shirts. We went there. We didn't win. I think we lost in the second round.
Good intentions, Richfield.
Yeah, it was close. It was close.
Good game, good effort, good game, good effort.
Send all those T-shirts over to some kids in the Philippines. Are they wearing those now?
Mine's probably old and ratted by now. Yeah. I'm old.
Oh yeah, you can't say that. You can't say that in this studio. Not sitting around with us. You can't say that.
I remember. Yeah, you always see stories about the T-shirts that didn't happen. It'll say, Twins World Series champs 2017, and you're like, oh crap, what do we do with these? But the other thing I always loved, when I first started touring in the early 90s, first time in Europe, I would see people wearing what they thought were American sports T-shirts and even like bomber jackets. Mm-hmm. And it would say like the Baltimore Generals. And I'd be like, that's not a team, dude. Like you think you got some cool American, that's a cool American baseball jersey. Like, yeah, not really. No.
Yeah.
No. Good try.
The New Jersey Generals there briefly, they were the big thing in the USFL. Yeah, we were talking about the football thing earlier, about the season just being that first preseason game with the Jets, only 35 days away. And I had to be reminded, there still is football. Canadian League's happening. Is it the USFL? Is that what's happening right now, the other one? What is it about the NFL that has any other football? It's just, college football is great. I'm more likely to go watch a rerun of a Pittsburgh Steelers playoff game from 1998 than I am to watch the USFL these days. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Just not into it.
Of course. I'm completely with you. It's just never been, football's just so specific. There's so many, I think, reasons why, it's just there's only room for one league. Mm-hmm. The USFL at best can only be a feeder league for the NFL. When you're watching a league who every single player's goal is to get to a different league, there's only so much passion it can possibly engender.
Yeah, that's true.
But let's look back at a few other things. Okay, and let's see, 1905 on June 29th. A young baseball player, a rookie, was playing with the New York Giants. Outfielder got his first crack in a game. Last inning of the game, Giants are down to the Dodgers 10-0. Top of the ninth, he's on deck. He's about to have his first ever major league at bat. But his teammate ahead of him flies out. The game ends. This kid does not enter the game. He's never again tapped to the big leagues. He had one appearance in a major league game, and all he did was walk to the on-deck circle. He never faced major league pitching. He then went on to get a medical degree from the University of Maryland. He then was a doctor in a small town for 50 years. His name was Archibald Moonlight Graham. That's a real guy. That's a real story. And, of course, if you ever saw the movie Field of Dreams, you're thinking right now, oh, my God, I remember that whole part of the story. Yeah, that whole Moonlight Graham thing, that was a real dude taken from the, what's his name, W.P. Kinsella, who wrote that book and put that in Field of Dreams. And any chance I get to mention Field of Dreams and also mention that, yes, I cried at the end, I'll take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
Instant goosebumps. Every time you bring it up, just mind blown, by the way. Yep. I guess I didn't realize that was a real guy that was based on a real story. I just thought Hollywood had to come up with something that fantastic.
In 2005 on this day, Kenny Rogers, not the gambler, but a pitcher for the Texas Rangers. We all remember Kenny Rogers. He walked onto the field during warm-ups. He saw a pair of cameramen setting up their equipment, and one of them had mouthed off to Kenny Rogers earlier that week. So Kenny walked up and knocked both men to the ground and then threw their equipment on the ground, kicking the cameras. He threatened to do far worse before his own teammates carried him off the field. He was 40 years old at this time. He was having a wonderful season for the Texas Rangers. He was suspended for 20 games and fined $50,000. And again, this was 2005. I think enough time has passed where I'm not going to be too worried about offending anyone when I say my man was jacked on the roids.
Yeah, it was having a little rageful moment there. You might get on the roids, a roid rage, right?
That's exactly what it is. Just attacked a couple guys. I mean, literally, like the idea that you'd just be attacked by a major league pitcher who's just walking past you. Not one guy, but two, and not once, but 2 or 3 times. He was literally ragdolling these two dudes. Better days, certainly, in Kenny Rogers' rear view at that moment.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.